They laughed the first time she spoke. Her voice trembled, her accent heavy. Her words met with smirks instead of understanding. What they didn't know was that the same girl they mocked would one day walk onto the world's biggest stage, not as a victim, but as a voice millions would never forget. She had every reason to give up, yet she didn't. This isn't just the story of a girl who found her voice. It's the story of how the world finally listened. In a small, quiet town, a young black girl named Amara walked into her new classroom for the first time. She had just moved from Nigeria with her mother, who worked 2 jobs to make sure Amara could have a better future. Everything about her felt different. Her clothes, her lunch, her accent. At first, she stayed quiet, observing how the others spoke, laughed, and shared stories she didn't understand. But when the teacher asked her to introduce herself, Amara stood up nervously. Her voice was soft, carrying the rhythm of her homeland, and almost instantly, a few kids snickered. That moment stuck. Every word she spoke afterward was met with whispered jokes, mocking impressions, and rolled eyes. Some even called her dictionary girl, because she pronounced words too properly. But Amara's mother told her something that night. Never let their laughter silence you. Your voice is your power. So she began writing. Journals, poems, short stories. Things she could say on paper when the world refused to listen out loud. She dreamed that one day, her words would matter. But dreams like that often get buried, especially when the world keeps telling you that you don't belong. By high school, Amara had become invisible, the quiet girl who always sat in the back, who spoke only when forced. She excelled in English and literature, but her teachers rarely noticed. They praised others for eloquence, while telling her to speak more clearly. Still, she kept writing, her notebooks filled with thoughts she couldn't share aloud, stories about injustice, belonging, and finding strength in silence. Her accent faded slightly, but the fear never did. Then, in her senior year, an announcement changed everything. The school was hosting a regional public speaking contest. The winner would get a college scholarship. Her classmates laughed when they saw her name on the list. You can't even talk right," one of them sneered. But something in her refused to back down this time. For weeks, she practiced in front of the mirror, repeating every line until her voice stopped shaking. Her mother listened each night, reminding her, "It's not about sounding like them. It's about being heard." The night of the competition arrived. The auditorium lights were blinding, the audience a sea of expectant faces. When Amara walked on stage, the same familiar whispers echoed. Her hands trembled, her voice cracked. But then, she remembered who she was doing this for. She began speaking, not perfectly, not flawlessly, but truthfully. Her accent carried her story. Her words painted the pain of being mocked, the loneliness of being different, power of never giving up. And for the first time, the crowd was silent, not from mockery, but from awe. When she finished, the applause didn't come immediately. It started slow, then grew thunderous. That night, Amara didn't just win the competition. She won something far greater, her confidence. Years later, Amara stood behind another microphone, this time, not in a school auditorium, but at the United Nations, addressing leaders from around the world. Her topic, the power of language and identity. As she spoke, her voice still carried that same accent, the one they used to mock. But now it echoed across nations. Cameras flashed, reporters took notes, and millions watched the live stream. She told them how language had been used to shame her, to silence her, and how she learned to reclaim it. She spoke for every child who ever felt less because they sounded different, for every immigrant who was told they didn't belong. When she finished, the entire room rose to its feet. The applause was deafening. Her words would be replayed for years to come, quoted in classrooms, shared online, celebrated by people she'd never met. And somewhere in that crowd, one of her old classmates watched on their phone, stunned. The same person who once mimicked her accent now listened to her with tears in their eyes. The irony wasn't lost. The girl they once silenced had become the voice of millions. Amara's speech went viral overnight. Her story spread across social media, inspiring millions. Schools began inviting her to speak about self-worth, identity, and acceptance. She launched a foundation helping immigrant children find confidence in their voices, teaching them that accents aren't flaws, they're proof of survival. But she never forgot that classroom. The laughter, the pain. They had shaped her into who she was. In interviews, when asked what she would say to those who mocked her, she smiled softly and replied, "Thank you. You made me realize that silence is never the answer." Her journey became a reminder that sometimes the voices we try to silence are the ones the world needs most. And maybe that's the message we all need to hear, that kindness can change the world, and cruelty can't silence truth forever. Because the sound of courage, no matter the accent, always finds its way home. If this story touched you, don't just scroll. Share it. Speak about it. And remember, every voice deserves to be heard.